press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Sebastian Fitness Solutions.
So you've decided to go for broke and do cardio and lift weights on the same day. And now you're wondering, which one should I do first? While it's really easy to throw out the generic, do whichever you prefer type of answer, you know that's simply not what this channel is about. In today's video, we're going to use science and physiology to finally answer the question, cardio or weights, which one to do first? Coming right up. What is up, everybody? This is Sebastian from Sebastian Fitness Solutions, coming to you from the wonderful facility at YFC IC Colony in Borivali. Now, kicking things off with this topic, let me first ask you the question, why would you want to do cardio and weights and lifting weights on the same day? Because if you are under the impression that performing both of these activities on the same day is somehow better for you, is somehow better for your results, then that is simply not true. That's dead wrong. In fact, if you have the option, it's far better to split your strength and cardio workouts onto different days or even at different times of the same day if necessary, and that would still be better because it would allow for more recovery and better performance in both your strength and cardio sessions, unlike when you try to cram them together or do them immediately one after the other. The only situation or the only scenario where this even makes sense to do them together on the same day roughly after the same time is when, for whatever reason, you cannot or you can only train for 2 to 3 days in the week and you need to cram both of these strength and endurance work on the same day. If that's the case, it's understandable why you want to do this and why you may want to, have this question. And then this video is for you. Now, finally getting to the answer the big question. The answer to that question is that you should definitely lift weights first and then do cardio. And here are a few reasons why. Reason number one, performance. In order to get the most out of any exercise, you need to be able to exhibit peak performance. If you can't perform at your absolute best during an exercise, you simply won't stimulate as much growth or burn as many calories as you possibly could. And a big part of this performance comes from how fresh and how alert your central nervous system, that is your CNS, is during the activity. Usually, at the start of any workout, your CNS is at its absolutely most fresh state. And then as you go on with your workout, as you get a little bit more tired, your CNS gets more and more fatigued, more and more tired, often exhausted by the end of a workout, especially if it was a really challenging workout. And as the CNS gets more tired, your ability to perform at your best starts to diminish. Now, the role of the CNS is a lot more profound in the case of high intensity activities compared to low intensity activities. So therefore, the impact of CNS fatigue on performance is a lot more in something like strength training, which is a high intensity activity, versus cardio, especially if it's low intensity steady state cardio. This is the reason why, even when deciding the order of exercises in a weight training program or weight training session, we choose to put the more technically complex or the more challenging exercises and movements like squats and deadlifts at the start of a workout. And then towards the end of it, like especially when the CNS is fresh, right? And towards the end of it, we leave all the isolation exercises. The simple same reason. So in the context of lifting versus cardio, the reason why we want to lift first is because of the impact the CNS fatigue has, or that it would be, on lifting is a lot more than cardio. So we choose to do that first when the body needs the CNS to be at its absolute most fresh. And then later on, you can do cardio, which isn't going to be as negatively affected by a fatigued CNS. Reason number two, energy. Both lifting and cardio use glycogen, which is the stored form of energy source called glucose. Now, when you need more glucose, the body simply breaks down or taps into these glycogen stores to get that glucose. Now, both cardio and lifting needs this form of energy. And if either of them has been deprived of it to a certain extent, the performance starts to suffer. And even though lifting weights tends to take roughly about a third of the glycogen amount or the glycogen stores that cardio does, the negative impact of insufficient glycogen is far more, because lifting weights and basically any other form of high intensity activity requires quick bursts of energy provided primarily by glucose. Glycogen is important in the case of cardio as well, but the body has an alternative source of fuel to fuel cardio and low intensity activities in the form of fat, because cardio typically requires slow, steady flow of energy and steady supply of energy. Reason number 3, enzymes. Another reason for lifting before cardio, or lifting first before doing any form of cardio activity, is of the impact that the enzymes mTOR and AMPK. mTOR is extremely important when it comes to muscle growth and is activated and elevated significantly after weight training. AMPK, on the other hand, is linked to fat breakdown, and it's activated by low intensity activities like cardio. The thing is though that AMPK unfortunately also inhibits mTOR and mTOR signaling, and which in theory means that if you do cardio first, it can negatively affect potential muscle growth via inhibition or interfering with mTOR. And finally, the fourth and most important point, the most important reason would be fatigue. If you do cardio or do a cardio session right before lifting, you will end up fatiguing your muscles, which will therefore compromise the amount of force production that those muscles can generate, which will affect the lifting session and your performance in lifting. Your cardiovascular system will also be taxed and fatigued, as well and that would basically affect the recovery in between sets, as well as the energy transportation. You could also be mentally fatigued, which would affect your motivation and would also affect your focus, which is a bad idea when it comes to lifting. So this is not to say that lifting first won't affect cardio, because it most certainly would. However, it's just that cardio doesn't demand as much as lifting, especially low intensity cardio. So you can kind of get away with it to a certain extent, but you can't get away with how cardio would affect lifting. Also, the type 1 muscle fibers, or the type 1 type of muscle fibers, which is what typically gets used in low intensity cardio activities, recover much faster and should be fairly good to go by the time you move or move to your cardio sessions after weight. And that's basically it. Those are the reasons why, in the event of having to do both cardio and weights on the same day, one after the other, the same session, you most certainly should go for lifting weights before cardio. Ultimately, as mentioned before, if you have the option, always pick to split your workouts and do weights on a separate day and cardio on a separate day, because that's when you get the most out of each of these with minimal negative impact on either of them. But if you can't manage that, if you can't afford it for whatever reason, and this is the best you can do, then you know exactly what to do now, right? Really hope you found this video informative, and if you did, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button right now, and share this video with somebody that you find would find this video informative. And also comment below and let me know if you've ever had to do a cardio or a lifting session on the same day, and if so, what would you have done, or what have you done before? If you've tried them both, share your experience in how it's been doing cardio first versus lifting, and lifting first versus cardio. Whatever it is, I'd love to hear from you. And that's about it, guys. It's all the time I have for you today, but until next time, keep learning, keep growing.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also, if you're on Instagram, follow me there at Suneet_SFS. And to watch another video, click right over here.